The best thing that ever happened to me, bro, because all my friends were like that. We were all just little knuckleheads running around, unsupervised. We were never bad kids, but we were hustling.
Yeah.
Start when we stop, we gon' get it done. Get it when we start, we gon' get it done. Start when we stop, we gon' get it done.
Anthony's World.
Whoa, what's going on, everyone? I'm Anthony. You know me as Anthony's World. We're back with another banging episode of the LivingIcon Podcast. We got a special guest here today. I've watched your videos. I've seen them everywhere. Obviously, you are everywhere. But before we get into it, I'm going to read this paper once again. I'm going to read this paper.
Don't screw it up, Anthony.
I'm going to try my best. We have Cody Sperber, pronounced it right, is an international speaker, educator, mentor, loving father, and founder and CEO of Clever Investor, a real estate investment and mentoring and consultant company. Cody has closed 1,000+ real estate deals with worth $200 million and counting. Cody is also home of the statement, "One deal changes everything." One deal changes everything.
Oh,
One deal.
Who wrote that paper? Your manager, your podcast manager.
Yeah.
You can tell she wrote that. Where's sexy? Where's the paragraph about my six pack?
Well, that's about to happen.
I want to know where all the good shit is.
Just show them real quick.
It's all home of the one deal changes everything. It's like I'm a commercial for selling flooring.
You know what? I've learned she keeps me in like check though, because if I don't have that, I end up going off the wall and I'll be like, say some random fucking crazy ass shit and just. Yeah. Don't even know where the fuck I'm going with it.
She gets a pass. That was a solid intro. We could kick the show off.
What's the intro you would give yourself? Let me hear this. Come on, let's see this.
I don't even know. I'm sexy, rich, focused, lethal.
There you go.
Loving.
There you go.
Present.
In the moment. Living in the now.
Aligned. That's what I would say.
Aligned?
I'm fucking aligned.
I love that.
Yeah, it's hard to be aligned.
It's very hard, especially like when you start making real fucking money. Like we were talking about a little bit before, like when you start making real money, having that alignment in your life is very difficult, especially with companies, kids, working out, fitness, everything like that. It's not fucking easy.
Well, think about it. Most people dominate in like one vertical, right? They're like, I'm really good at making money, but I'm a fat slob with man titties and I'm embarrassed to take my shirt off at the pool. You know, or I make a lot of money, but I'm just an asshole to everybody. I'm always irritated and angry and I treat people like shit. I don't have a relationship with God, and I'm not a very good dad. It's always, you hear those stories like, you know, when they're old, what's the one thing that you regret? It's like not spending more time with my kids.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be aligned in all verticals of my life. And, you know, I will say this, though, just to kind of kick this thing off on a powerful note. I wasn't aligned for a long time. And I think it's easy to be misaligned and get out of alignment. It's easy for an entrepreneur. And I think the thing that makes a great entrepreneur great is their ability to obsess over certain things.
Agreed.
Right? It's like
100%.
It's like it's like a dark passenger. It's very much like Dexter shit. It's like
really is. I talk about all the time.
It's like a light switch. You're either alive or dead to me.
One speed.
Yes.
One fucking speed. And I think that's like one of the greatest things that entrepreneurs have and their biggest asset. Like I went through phases where I wasn't aligned and then I became aligned and then got back out of alignment. And it's truly like, I mean, I'm still pretty young. I'm only 28. So like, I'm like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing over here. So like, I always say it and I'm going to say it again. Like I watched your videos for a long time. You were one of the first fucking people that had a Lamborghini that I was like, yeah. But I mean, being in the business world, I'm learning a lot. And this like purely like, I might go off topic of these sometimes and ask personal questions because I'm here to fucking learn.
Yeah, let's do
it,
dude.
I'm here to really fucking learn.
You just walk me around your killer bit. You got 2 of your 20 businesses I got a tour of. But think about it. You know, it's like we got this dark passenger. It's this drive that allows entrepreneurs to just obsess and go crazy and do things that most people aren't willing to do.
Yep.
Right? We're willing to push the boundaries, break the rules, stay working until midnight and not care about what anybody thinks. And if you get in our way, we'll run you over.
I love that side.
That's great. However, it's also the number one thing that'll hold you back once you get to a certain level. It gets you out of Egypt, but it doesn't get you to the promised land.
Yep.
And so the alignment typically comes when you realize like, okay, I got the money and I solved a lot of my money problems, but I'm not doing a great job in all these other areas. I had to go through a divorce. I had to lose my mom. I had to fail in partnerships and in relationships before I finally got ran over enough where I was like, okay, I need to change. I'm up here on this soapbox. Like you saw me on social.
Yeah.
right? It's like standing in front of the bank, the Lamborghini, like throwing the money up, like let's go get real estate rich. I'm a promoter, right? I'm promoting real estate and training and getting into this business. But that doesn't, just because I'm killing it on social and you see my little Instagram, you're like, oh, that guy's doing good. I wasn't doing good.
Not mentally and not everywhere else, yeah.
Mentally, I was okay, but I was out of alignment. You can never truly be your full potential and step into your full potential if your words and your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions don't match up. That's what I mean by alignment, is how can I be the greatest version of Cody but be out of alignment in my marriage? You can't. They
don't go hand in hand.
You can't. And until I broke down and actually stepped back and went and did the therapy, and I've done it all. We can talk about that if you want. But I did all the work, the actual inner work, like having like open heart surgery on your inner child shit, like where you're really
the past experiences.
You're healed. I'm healed. Not all the way, but I'm more healed than I ever was. And that's because I put in the work, and it took me about a year of going deep and doing all the modalities of therapy to come out the other end and realize, like, I can be a bad motherfucker in the money department, in the spiritual department, in the relationship department, in the parent department. And what's funny is when you do get in alignment, two things happen. One, alignment equals velocity. You can go fast. And two, you're going to make a lot more money when you're in alignment, and it's way more powerful and impactful.
So for someone that's like, you know, what advice would you give to someone like me then that's like trying to be aligned in all aspects? Was it for you? Was it getting like kicked in the teeth so much that like forced you to, or did you realize something? Did you wake up something? Because I've been having this battle for myself for a long time. Is like I went and made a fuck ton of money, like from the time I was like 24. There hasn't been a month since I've been 24 where I haven't made over $1 million.
Bam.
In a single month. But like at 24 years old, I went from being like super fit, super healthy to fat, overweight, lazy, eating whatever I wanted, drinking whatever I wanted. And then I like had to like get myself in alignment, like fitness wise, and like talking to like mentorship and talking. And it's like a lot of people don't realize, like, to the people's eyes, I'm supposed to be a mentor, but like I need to be mentored. You know what I mean?
We all do.
We all need to talk to that. So what advice would you give to someone like me?
Well, first off, I would take the pressure off by saying, look, I know all the successful guru dudes that are out there. You know, I'm on the speaking circuit. I know them front of stage. I know them back of stage. We've formed lots of businesses. I run high-level masterminds. My businesses and my brands have done hundreds of millions of dollars. We're all duct taped together. I don't care what level you're at. Everybody's all a shit show in some department at some point in time. So
that's what I've come to realize.
Take the pressure off of you. Like, you're totally normal. You're doing great. And the fact that you're even self-aware enough to know, like, most people don't even take the ownership or ask for the help or even have any awareness, right?
I want all the help I can get.
They're professional blame throwers, and they're just going around blasting people. It's never them. It's always the world and everybody else. And the people that really break through and get to that next level, which it's always funny when people say, hey, you got to get to the next level. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
What is the next level? That's what I've been trying to figure out. That's what I don't understand that.
Well, the next level is alignment. The next level is you making the most impact that you possibly could. It's raising your intention and enthusiasm and having the energy behind it to be the most impactful version of you. It's not a destination. It's not a money. It's not a goal. It's not like if I get to making 50 million, I'm going to be at the next level. That's the wrong way to think about it. That's just simply a goal. The ultimate version of you is the way that you serve the most. And you can only serve the most, one, if you have the most attention, meaning like you got to be the loudest person in the room.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to understand. That's one big thing that I need to do more out there.
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it on this podcast, but like, imagine if you magnified this energy times 100. What would that look and feel like? Like you were that aggressive with content.
Yeah.
That aggressive with sharing your knowledge and your voice. And, you know, you're 28?
28, yes, sir.
28, you've been through a lot, making millions of dollars. Like, most people will never, ever, 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 ever make $1 million in a year.
Okay, yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah,
most people
absolutely.
won't ever even get close. The average American makes like $67,000 a year. Maybe even less, $65,000 a year.
Crazy.
With inflation and the way the world has gone, like you need at least about $130,000 a year to comfortably just basically live. Like what used to be a $60K income is now like $120. It's doubled. The average American saves less than $1,000 per month. By the time they end up at retirement, super savers, the best savers in the world, save $170,000 by time of retirement. Think about that for a second. You're making millions. They might work a whole lifetime and save 170.
That's
What I'm trying to say is most people are dependent on the government or on their family by the time they get to old age. This is why people are living longer than ever, and this is why they're stuck on Social Security, which only brings in about $1,500 per month. That's $18,000 per year. The federal poverty line in America for a single individual is $14,000. So if you're only making $18,000 a year in Social Security, you don't have any savings. By the way, just Medicare and Medicaid is estimated to cost $300,000 during your retirement years. If you retire at 61 and you go to 85, you need 24 years of life, right? You need 24 years of money.
Yep.
So you got to spread 170 grand over 24 years, and that's if you're a good saver.
That doesn't.
Most people don't even own their own home, and it's getting harder. You watched what they've done to us, the middle class. They destroyed it, obliterated it.
They did. They have.
Young kids have.
It's getting worse.
It's weird because on one hand, young kids, because of this, have every ability in the world to make millions of dollars. And because of what they've done to us, it's harder than ever before to make millions of dollars. It's this weird double-edged sword that they have to fight through, and this is why listening to this podcast is so important. If you think about it, you need about $3 million to just basically comfortably retire for those 25 years. How do you get there? That's the $1 million question.
It is. And it's the hardest thing to do.
It's not, and the answer to it is it's not technical. You could probably teach any kid, dumb, smart, book smart, street smart, black, white, male, female. Doesn't matter where they came from. English could be a third language. Mm-hmm. And you can teach them how to day trade. And within a year, you can get them making significantly more money than all of the teachers
and understanding things
added up together, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we know it's not technical because there's all the technical recipes. The blueprints are out there.
Yep.
And we have them in the palm of our hands. So what is it? What's the yeah.
Mental, the mindset.
It's 100% psychology.
Yeah. That's what we say in our industry heavily is like trading is really easy. I promise you right now I could pull up a computer and probably teach you how to trade in an hour. How to mentally do it, how to mentally place trades, how to understand what the logic behind it is. It takes you years to learn it. And that's why, so like I agree 100%. It's all mental. It's the mentality of it. Like
people all the time, teach me how to invest in real estate. No problem. Here's the blueprint, step by step. I'll line up 100 kids right now with all the enthusiasm in the world. They could be 18 years old, and I'll give them the blueprint. 2 of them will do it.
Yep, 100%.
Only because they've never gotten out of their own way. 100% of your energy when you're young needs to be focused on healing you. And here's the big discovery with me getting back into alignment. This was it. I wish I would have done this when I was your age. And you asked me, what advice would I give you to help you get to that next level? And the advice is real simple. I would say you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot show up as the best version of you unconditional.
Yep.
That word is very important, by the way. Unconditional. Unconditional means whatever it takes. Yeah. Truly, all the way to the cell level. You cannot unconditionally love anybody in the world if you don't unconditionally love yourself.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. That's been the battle of my life, I would say, probably last few years, just trying to figure out how to love myself without the money too.
Money, no money. Look, dude, you got tattoos all over. What drove you to do that?
I've just always loved that the look. I love tattoos. I love them. They're fun. Knew something new.
Okay, but there's something subconscious, psychological, subconscious that says, I want to be seen.
Yeah.
I want to feel a certain way. I want to look a certain way. I want to be cool.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you got a subconscious programming that says that if I tap my face up and I get the piercings, and I'm going to be able to be bigger than life.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I had the same thing. My whole adult life is literally me acting out to not be my childhood.
Wow.
That's it. I was out of control as a child. I was bullied and picked on. I was passed over. I was pushed around. I was sidelined. I was never the class valedictorian. I was not cool. I was none of those things.
Yeah.
So my whole adult life is I'm going to get ripped, rich, and rare, like my good friend Wes Watson says, and I'm going to do everything in my power as an entrepreneur to control things.
Now, are you still that way, or are you shifting in that?
I desire control.
You desire
it is
still?
a massive driver in my life. Yeah,
So I was gonna say, like, do you think that is really, really one of the reasons why you got to where you're at, though? Is that trauma?
Of course. This is what I'm saying.
Use that, yeah.
Ask if I lined up all my most successful friends. We all sold drugs, did drugs, fuck bitches, ran game,
did everything,
ditched school.
Yeah.
Like we broke all the rules. Like, this is what you do. Like, it's very rare that the khaki wearing square dude goes off and dominates.
And does, yeah, 100%.
Because they're too rigid, too rule following. But at the same time, I never was mean. I was never like, I would never cross a line that I knew was too far. I just skirted the line.
Played in the gray area.
Yeah.
That's how I was.
Push and break a little bit.
That's exactly how I was. I dropped out of high school, all that stuff to be that guy.
Imagine if you stopped your 19 businesses. You put money to the side, your partnerships to the side, your kids to the side, everybody to the side. And for a week, 2 weeks, you went into like a major intensive where you did the EMDR. You did the somatic release breath work. You did the one-on-one therapy, the group therapy, the horse therapy, the acting therapy. You did all these modalities of therapy, and you just went upstream. You built a trauma egg, and you worked through every childhood moment in your life where you were like just addressing the pain, the subconscious programming, and you slowly, through neuro-linguistic programming and through therapy, you slowly reprogrammed who you are and how you think. And at the end of that, then for the next year, you went and put in the work to heal your relationships and to heal yourself, and you got in the best shape of your life, and you went around to every single person and you said, I'm going to treat you different. I'm going to act different. I'm going to show up different. My commitment to this life is I'm going to play full out. Like, I'm crazy David Goggins energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of my biggest focuses right now. I started everything like doing that. I just haven't done for 2 weeks going somewhere and actually pushed my boundaries like that. I mean, like I said, I've done all the drugs. Like I've done DMT. You know, I've done all those crazy drugs, and they helped me like align, trying to get back into that. But I'm really learning I'm learning that like everything now in my life is just, I have energy for like what I have energy for. And if that makes sense, I don't know if it does. And it's like, I'm truly getting this like new feeling of life, and it's been really good, but like I'm still having to go through that.
And I wish I would have done it in my 20s. If I could go back in time, I would do it. You know, the version of me now, I feel healthier than I've ever been. I've been biohacking for like the last 7-8 months. Another thing, by the way, regimen. Men, another thing, check your testosterone levels.
Absolutely.
You pass probably like 30. From that, you know, everything degrades from then on. And in my case, I didn't really check them until I was like 42, 43, and I was below 300. I didn't know anything about TRT. I didn't know anything about testosterone. I just thought, I'm just a normal dude who's slightly going bald.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting old. I'm going bald. I got 2 kids. I got a marriage that feels average on a lot of intimate levels and phenomenal on the friendship level. It was just like, I was just kind of doing my thing over that department. I wasn't really winning over there. I wasn't being a very good dad. I had zero connection spiritually to my creator. And then now fast forward here, I went and I did all the health checkups. I'm taking health very seriously. When my mom passed away, I was like, you know what? I would give all my money away right now
to stay alive,
to have her stay alive.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't want to wake up one day and get that bad news.
Yep.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm going to live forever. I'm going to try to live to be 125. And I'm going to take every available dollar that I have, and I'm going to dump it into my health.
You're doing like peptides and
all of it.
All that.
All of it. I use Dr. D from Biohacks out of Miami, good friend of mine. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots a day, 400 pills. You know, I go to the gym every single day. I do fasted cardio every morning. I drink a shit ton of water. I do Andy Frisella's 75 hard 2-3 times a year.
Really?
I'm on.
I love that.
But I feel like I'm on. I feel invincible.
It's something I've never done is a 75 hard, and I've just never I don't know, probably new. I need to push myself.
It's more mental than it is physical, but do it. You'll be like, you'll go into God mode at like day 30. You're just like, I'll fucking run through this wall and punch a rhino in the face. Like, I don't give a shit.
That's awesome.
But then what happens is it starts one of the other things they taught me in therapy is just how to rearrange who are my priorities. Entrepreneurs make this golden mistake all the time. We take care of everybody but ourselves.
1,000%.
We're the problem solvers, right? I don't know why we do it. Why don't we say no? And some asshole walks into our office with a bunch of monkeys and tries to put them on our desk. Why don't we say, get these fucking monkeys out of here? What are you doing? I got my own shit.
Yeah.
Get out of here. But no, we're like, okay, let me see how we can help. Let's solve. We're like the ultimate problem
It's
solvers.
the driving factor. I call them Lashers. I call entrepreneurs Lashers. I came up with this saying a long time ago, and I call them like, I want to be around Lashers. Like Lashers are the people that were willing to take anything and just they're there for it. They take the lashings. You can call me what you want. You can do everything. Okay. I'll do everything. I'll put it on my back. Because I know in my life personally, I'm the only one that's been able to do it. Like
You're the one.
I'm the one. I'm the fucking one. And so it's like I'm down to be the lasher, but I'm learning now I'm down to be the lasher, not at the expense of myself.
Yeah.
And like that's something that I've had to have a real talk like with my friends, my wife, everything around us has just been like, I'm at a point in my life now where like I'm number one. Finally in my life, like I got the money solved, I got the businesses solved, they run themselves, they do the thing. Like I'm doing this podcast for me. Yeah. Like I'm the one. Like I work out, I cold plunge every day, I sauna every day. Like I do I do it every day. Like I'm finally at that point now, and I'd say it's probably in the last like 6 months that I am like finally like I'm doing this for me. Like I'm number one in my life. You're not number one. You're not number one. No one is number one. Not even like I love my kids to death, but they're not number one in my life. Like, because if I'm not well, they're not going to be well. And so like, that's just something that I've
there is, I think maybe Jim Rohn, it was either Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar. I'm going to go with Jim Rohn. He gave an analogy about the being on a plane, and the cabin pressure loses and then the little thing drops out of the ceiling and they say, put it on yourself first and then put it on the people around you. That's how you're operating, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things through therapy they taught me is how to rearrange what they call intimacy circles, where you just put the right people in the right areas of your life so that way you can prioritize who's important. The big takeaway was in the center of the bullseye is supposed to be you and your creator. And in the center of my bullseye for many years, it was everybody else that had the biggest problem. And I was somewhere outside of the circle, and my creator didn't exist.
And they came in, and then you would get all discombobulated.
So even in my relationship now, I got a new girlfriend that I'm head over heels in love with, and that's the other good part about the story. When you're in alignment, the amount of great opportunities that are attracted to you, I can walk into any room, and it could be a room full of the biggest influencers in the world, and I don't know how, I don't know why. It's an energy thing. I will walk into a room and people will go, who's that? Because I don't allow my environment to change me. I change the weather. When I walk in, I'm like, this is my show. Not in a conceited way, but I'm holding my space, my energy. I'm here to serve. I'm here in a positive way. It's just a different way of rolling through life. And when you do that, great things like, my new girlfriend, Maria, shows up in my life, and I was like, instantly, I was like head over heels in love. And I was like, I get now why I went through what I went through in order to
because you had to be.
Yeah. And I've never had that love at first sight. Love, like, it's like, twin flame type shit where you just like, you get around somebody and you're like, all right, I'm done.
This is fun.
I don't care about any other women. I would never even consider cheating. Like I would never even look at another one. Like I don't have any desire whatsoever other than to spend my life with her.
That's incredible.
And so, but that wouldn't have happened if I didn't rearrange my intimacy circles and strengthen my relationship with my creator, which is something I avoided doing my whole life. I'm not a big church fan. I don't like the monetization in the business side of church. Religion, yeah. I just dislike it a lot. And same. As somebody that ran game and made money and did all that.
We understand it. We understand it.
Yeah. I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like,
I feel like that's the hardest part.
I had a friend the other day, because I don't know much about Mormons other than I have a lot of friends that are Mormons and they're great at making money. And we were talking, and they said, I had my bishop the other day come and show me this piece of paper, and it was about their tithing. And they would show him the piece of paper, and they would say, does this feel good to you? Like, are you happy with this amount of tithing that you've done? And you have to be like, yeah, I'm good with it. And I'm like, what a fucking shakedown.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Like if somebody rolled up with that, I'd be like, what are you shaming me into tithing more? Like, get out. That's the part I don't like. However, since my mom passed away, I had really started building that muscle. Just like going to the gym, I started praying. I don't know how to pray. I'm like sitting there like, hey, Sky Daddy, it's Cody.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's Cody. And I do like the lame prayer. It's like, please take care of me today, and thank you for my family, and thank you. Like I don't know what to say, but over time I started building that that muscle, and I got better at praying. And then it was like, all right, I better get better at reading. I need to learn about this stuff. Like I want to understand who you are and what you stand for. And then I started going to church, and I would just sit in the back. I would never talk, never do anything. I never participated. I never understood or felt comfortable with the people that are like with their hands up, like, doing the hands up thing. But over time, I got more and more comfortable with it, and to the point where it's like, I feel like for me, I have my version of my relationship with God and with Jesus. That's me. I would never push that on anybody, but that's me. When me and Maria started dating, I said, one of the big missing pieces from my marriage was a spiritual connection, like a deep spiritual connection, like one that you practice together. And I'll never make that mistake again, because I think that glue is the glue
Next
that
level.
can hold you way more together through all the adversity, because marriage is so hard that on the other end of it, 30, 40, 50 years later, that's the glue that's gonna keep you there. That's
awesome. I love that, man. This is speaking to me. He's speaking to me. I love it. Seriously, I really do, because this is just like, I know I go through things in life just like everyone does, and it's just like a lot of these things are like relevant to me. So that's really cool to see. But I do want to talk about some entrepreneur stuff.
Let's go.
How old were you when you started your first business? That's just an
first
question.
business. Well, I started making money when I was I got my first job when I was probably about 10 or 11. I used to hop a fence and walk to the Circle K. My dad would give me change that he found in his, car or whatever, and I'd go buy candy with it. Well, I used to hop this fence and walk in this alleyway, and there next to the Circle K was an Italian restaurant. There was always a guy out back smoking. So I would stop and talk to the guy, and he would smoke, and we'd just sit there and bullshit. And I said, God, that smell is weird. And he goes, well, when we wash the pots full of sauce, it's kind of a funky smell. And I said, oh yeah, is that a lot of work? And he goes, yeah, it's the part I hate the most. He was like the cook. Yeah. He goes, the part I hate the most at the end of the day. And I'm like, I'll do it if you pay me. And he goes, all right, I'll pay you cash under the table. Show up every day here at this time, and I'll pay you. And I was so little, he used to pick me up and put me in the sauce pot, and I would be inside the sauce pot scrubbing the damn thing, because they had these huge pots of sauce that they would make one giant pot every day.
That's awesome.
And so I'd get paid under the table. That was my first job, and I loved to work. I had no problem. I thought earning money was great. Very quickly, and we didn't have money growing up, so my parents never gave me any money. If I asked for money, my dad would go, what am I made of money?
Yeah.
What am I money growing trees? whatever dumb old people say. And so I would say, Dad, I want a scooter. He goes, well, you better figure out a way to create money, because I'm not giving it to you. And so I was like, dude, I think I was like 11 at the time or 12. I'm like, Dad, I'm 12. Like, how am I going to create money? And he goes, I don't know. I'll give you a loan, and you start a business and figure something out. So my first hustle was selling candy at school. I pitched my dad, I want to sell candy. He goes, great, I'll give you a $40 loan. He literally had me draft a fake loan document that I had to sign, like a note.
Awesome.
And he gave me $40, drove me to get the candy. And then the next day I brought it in my backpack, bunch of Laffy Taffy, blow pops, all that stuff, slanged them around school, came up with the system. And I made let's call it $70 or $80 worth of slinging candy over a few days, and I paid my dad back the 40. So now I had an extra 40 plus the 40 I paid him back, and we went and reloaded. I did that, and I saved about $700 or $800. I bought they were called GoPeds. You remember those?
Yes.
Those little gas powered. This is right when they first came out, and I bought one of those. And my dad said it took me like 3 months to earn this money. He goes, and by the way, the principal pulled me aside about 2 months in and said, Cody, word around town is you're slinging candy. You got to stop fucking doing this or you're going to get in trouble. I said, I'm so close to earning this thing. He said, I'll make you a deal. You do it until you earn the thing, and then you're done. And so I made the deal with the principal. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I
But
love
anyway,
that.
my dad, I bought the scooter, and I was so proud of myself because it was the first thing I ever earned on my own. My dad said, whatever you do, fucking lock this thing up. And what do?
Didn't lock it up.
I didn't lock it up. 1 week after having this stupid scooter, the thing got stolen. I know.
Taught you a lesson.
So then I very quickly realized it takes too long to sell candy. So I started selling weed. Instantly jumped to weed because we got to go faster, right? That's
absolutely. I did this exact same thing.
Started
100%.
selling weed. And then I discovered ecstasy, and I'm like, fucking, and acid. I was like, ooh, this is way cooler. And so I started doing that and slinging that. I used to skateboard around and just a little neighborhood bullshit. And then I turned 16. So pretty much for like 3-4 years, I would sell drugs, skateboarding around. And then I got a car, and I turned 16. And I got a job at Burger King because I used to sell weed to the manager there. And I was like, you know what? I pitched him one day. I said, listen, I'm tired of skateboarding around. I'm tired of driving around to people. If you give me a job in the drive-through window and I sell weed through the drive-through window, now people will come to me and I'll hook you up. And the guy's like, done. So this is
awesome.
I used to sell out of the Burger King drive-through window, and there was like a code word, like run the double Whopper through the machine 2 times, make it extra crispy, add extra pickles. I knew they wanted a quarter bag or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for
That's
about
freaking
8 months until the manager got fired.
And then
My weed career through Burger King ended that day, and I quit. And just a fun end to that story. By the way, I don't sell drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that. This is when I was really young. The best thing that ever happened to me, bro, because all my friends were like that. We were all just little knuckleheads running around, unsupervised. We were never bad kids, but we were hustling.
Yeah.
Almost all of them went to juvenile hall. There was one point where this kid Matt was getting picked on a lot by this guy named Derek, and Derek picked on me. He stole all my CDs. He was like the leader of this little neighborhood Mexican gang, and he picked on everybody. If you were small, he was whipping your ass. We all hated him. We were all scared of him. But one day, Matt stole his grandpa's gun and went and shot Derek in the face in front of all of us.
Oh, shit.
And things started to escalate pretty quickly. I had a friend named Wes and a friend named Russell. Both of them got picked up for guns and drugs and stuff, and they both went to juvenile hall.
So shit changed.
Everybody was around me was starting to like get into worse and worse as we were getting older. And thank God, my path was just different enough because I could have easily went down that route. But for me, my dad sat me down and said, Cody, you got to make a call. You got to either go to college, start a business, go get a job, because I was now done with high school, or go in the military. And I said, I'm going to go to college. I don't know why. I didn't even want to go to college. I was a horrible student, but I said, fine, I'll go to college. I enrolled at Mesa Community College. I went for
this is all around here.
Yeah, around here.
Okay.
I went to Mesa Community College for maybe an hour and a half, went to a biology class, immediately in the middle of class, stood up, walked back to my car, got in it, and never went back. Quit college after an hour and a half, and eventually drove down to the Navy Recruitment Center and enrolled. That was the best decision I ever made in my life.
That's awesome.
If anybody is lost out there, if anybody is struggling, if you have a kid that is not really book smart, the military was the best move I ever made.
That structure, huh?
It got me out of my environment. That's the number one thing you got to do if you're trapped around a bunch of losers. You will be the fifth loser.
Yeah, absolutely. I move every year. I move every year to change my environment. Like I'm about to leave. In December, I go to Nashville for a month and a half, and then I go to Dubai. But I just literally pack my computers up. I'm driving down there with the family, and we're just gonna completely change the environment, so I can think different, be different, act different. Even driving to the gym is different. The gym is different. The sauna is gonna be different. The cold plunge is gonna be different. So my brain thinks. I call it like a routinal change. Like I have to change my routine, and every time I do, I make more money. Like I'm launching my first course ever right now, like tonight actually. I'm launching my first course ever, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, look, like we're selling a company, we're doing stuff, we're having stuff go off. Like I got to be different. I got to be different. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, this, and I'm like, no, I got to be different. And she's like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, it will. Trust
Yep.
me. We booked a place for a house. We booked a house half in a month and a half. Then go off to Dubai.
It's
So I'm
brilliant. I
gone
love
for
it.
2 months.
You're like a nomad capitalist. You're able to move around. And what's great about it is you're bringing your family with you.
Yeah.
This is and that, by the way, that's the key. There is no such thing as balance in that way. There's just being present and including them in as much shit as you possibly can.
And it's like we just went on a 4-month trip all over Europe, and all of us went to Europe. We went 4 months, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever done. And I'm a very I believe in changing that mindset. Like we went to Croatia, we went to Italy, 3 different parts of Italy. We went to, Switzerland, Germany.
What's the course going to be on?
Trading Forex.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you could do that from anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
that.
So my first course, obviously all of my other companies, but I wanted to just do things differently. And that's why so when you brought that point of changing your routine, I'm 100% believer in that. Change how you drive to work every day. Change how you drive to the gym every day. Change what you eat every day. Change all that stuff. Put yourself in new environments, new situations, and then your brain is forced to think differently.
Yeah.
There was a study on I don't remember what war it was, but they went over to war and they all got addicted to opioids, and then they came back, and only I think it was 3 or 4% of the people that were addicted to opioids actually continued to do opioids. But now we have in rehab centers, it's over 70% of people that get put back in the same exact environment they went to the rehab center in. They get put back in that. 70-something% stay on the drugs.
Yeah.
So just
right back at it.
So completely changing the environment that you're in and how you are. And so they said that if they were to send people that go to rehab, send them to a completely different state, they wouldn't have that same addiction, because routine.
A lot of truth in that.
I think routine kills people.
The military forced me to disconnect from my friends group that I was influenced by, and they whip your ass. And on the other end of it is you do come back not with just discipline, but a lot more self-confidence and belief in what you can get through. There is some truth, and this is really, we could have a whole podcast on just this. It's a very American way of thinking of tough times make strong men.
Yes.
Right? And weak time,
That's my
easy
favorite.
Times make weak men.
That's my favorite topic.
That's a Tony Robbins quote. This is a very American way of thinking. Not everybody feels this way. Other cultures, and they don't spin hard times into Americans feel like we're gonna crash and burn, but when our phoenix rises, we're gonna even be better than we were before. That's a very American thing. But I like it. I'd rather be that way than not that way. And it's like if we're gonna crash and burn, we wanna come out stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. By going through something hard, this is why I said go through 75 hard. It's hard for a reason.
Yeah.
It's mentally so tough that ice baths. Before you've ever done an ice bath, you're thinking, why that sounds like that does not feel comfortable. I don't even like cold showers. Why the hell would I ever get in a cold tub for 5 minutes at a time? But after you do it a few times,
You become addicted.
not only do you become addicted because of the way it makes you feel, but you think of the adversity different, right?
Yep.
When you're not going to look at certain things and go well, fuck, if I could sit in freezing cold water for 5 minutes, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Your pain tolerance goes up. Same thing with being an entrepreneur. If somebody would have told you on day one how hard it is to be an entrepreneur, would you have signed up for it?
Probably not.
Nobody knows.
No, yeah.
Nobody knows the truth of how many
my-
times you're going to get your ass kicked.
My ego and my willingness to prove everyone wrong is kind of probably the reason. And I'm just so fucking stubborn.
Yeah.
So stubborn.
But knowing that it's almost like this naive, ignorant blessing. It's like we're going to go into this business and you always are hoping for the best because that's probably how you roll.
Yep.
We're going to make this work. I'm going to hope for the best, and any challenge that comes our way, we're going to blast through them and overcome them. But you naively go into it, and then you realize, oh my God, this is going to cost way more. It's going to take way longer. Everybody's going to get in my fucking way. It's not designed to be easy.
Yep.
I'm not, nobody owes me shit. I got to go earn it.
I had a friend of mine come to me the other day, and it's a good investment. He wanted me to make an investment with him and his company and stuff like that, and to start a new startup. And he was like, well, I need about $100,000 to get this really going. And I saw the numbers and I was like, okay, good. I was like, yeah, I'm down to do that, but I'm gonna give you $150,000. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because it's gonna cost you that much. I was like, I was like, you probably cut the expenses by 50%, and you don't even realize you cut the expenses by 50%.
Yeah.
And it's just like no one tells you these things, and that's like some stuff that I've been going through lately. It's just telling people,
which is good because you want to protect your money too. You want to, hey, we got to win.
Yep. Yeah. You gotta go long.
We can just kind of divert over to that real quick. When I've raised a lot of money for my real estate projects. You know, we do big projects. You got to rate. We just closed on an apartment building that was $131 million. We got to raise $66 million. It's difficult. When you're raising money from investors, this is great for any entrepreneur thinking about trying to raise capital. First off, besides me believing in you and me knowing that you know your shit, the number one thing I'm worried about is typically the opposite of what you're talking about to me. Normally you roll in and you're like, we're going to make all this money and here's the profit projections. I'm like, yeah, cool. How are you not going to lose all my money?
Yeah.
Like all I care about is preservation of capital. Then if we make money, it's like bonus.
This is great.
Yeah, this is wonderful. And so like, I'm more like, how are you going to protect the football, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and then if you haven't thought about every freaking scenario and I'm like, damn, this person's really thinking this through, I'm out right away.
I'm the same way. I heard a quote today. It says, in order to become rich and successful, you should learn how to take small amounts of money and turn them into cash flowing businesses. And then in order to save wealth and money, take large accounts of money and put them in very small risk. So like take big risk to make the money, take small risk to keep the money.
I mean, there's truth in that. There's truth in that.
When it comes to real estate, what attracted you to real estate? Because to be honest with you, I own properties. I don't love real estate though. I'm not a real estate fan. Never been a real estate fan. Nothing against it. It's just like my industry is so different. So like, what attracts you to real estate? Because I mean, at the end of the day, these are all entrepreneurs. They want, like, a lot of them do real estate. A lot of them are doing Airbnb. I own Airbnbs. A lot of them are learning about that. What attracted you to real estate, and what's your favorite thing about it?
So real estate for me is an industry that is future-proof. Everybody needs a place to live. A CEO can't fuck a kid and all of a sudden fuck my money up.
Touche.
Right? Like with stocks, like you never know.
Yep.
Somebody makes a poor choice. Bud Light gives away a can.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Pissed everybody off. Bud Light lost billions of dollars in sales. You know, they gave out like 180 cans that day.
Really?
Like a bunch of influencers got cans.
Yeah.
But that one fucked it all up. And it's like just a miscalculation by some middle management that thought, hey, we're going to give all these influencers their special cans. Not understanding that somebody's going to go nuclear bomb and Kid Rock's going to shoot cans on, it's like, what just happened?
I agree with that. That's why I'm not a big fan of stocks.
So that's for me, it's like, okay, we know everybody needs a place to live. We know that it's more controllable because it's just a house or a building or a piece of land or whatever. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. There can be flying cars and people will still park those flying cars in a garage somewhere and sleep in a house. Somebody's going to own all that real estate. It's either going to be a corporation, the government, or you. It's a cash flowing asset. Money in every month. If you want to live in this place every month, I'm going to get a check. So I love that. There's ways for me to guarantee that I'm going to get my money every month or you get evicted. So there's laws around it. There's a legal infrastructure that makes being a landlord and being a property owner very simple and clear, at least in red states.
Yes.
Just gonna put that out there because the blue states, you guys are all fucking nuts.
Don't do California real estate.
we are now a blue state, which is weird, because thank God we still have red state rules and laws and some common sense. But like, I would never own real estate in California. No. You can make a lot of money. I know so many people that made hundreds of millions of dollars in California real estate, and maybe at a very high level of commercial real estate, maybe. But even then, I'd probably be like, ugh, because I just don't like the infrastructure and the rules around it. The government tells us that they want real estate, and they tell us they want real estate through tax benefits. So that is important to me. I want to make money and not pay taxes. I am a big fan of not paying taxes. Not because I don't want to contribute my portion. It's because I don't trust any of you idiot politicians to spend my money. You're not going to do it right.
I concur.
Yeah. It's
Trust me, I know. I just wrote a big ass check to the government.
Well, you're stupid because you shouldn't have done that. You should have bought real estate or bought the right type of asset to offset your earned income in order to, by the way, because I'm considered a real estate dealer, because I own businesses in real estate more than half of my time is spent in real estate, I'm considered a dealer. That means that my real estate depreciation and my real estate write-offs can offset my earned income from my education business, from my other companies. So I can make $10 million over here and buy $10 million worth of real estate and offset each other and not pay $1 in taxes. In fact, I could get money back on my tax returns. So it's like, I don't know very many people that can make, let's say, just for sake of this conversation, let's say I made $15 million in profit last year that I paid myself and paid no taxes. That's like me making $30 million for the normal person.
Yes, absolutely.
I can go so much faster than everybody else.
Yeah. We pay about, I think I paid about 12% of my total income. So I mean, I did good.
You're not horrible. You're not
good,
you're
but
not
I didn't do.
bozo.
Yeah,
I like you a little bit more.
I didn't. I mean, I bought some assets, but I didn't I didn't calculate it the right. We didn't calculate it the right way. We didn't make investments in time. We didn't do the right thing. But
you're moving in the right direction, and you're having these conversations, and that's a large.
I
part
do
of it.
need to buy more real estate. Like I need to buy real estate this year.
You either buy a jet or you buy real estate. I mean, that seems to be like the two big plays.
But doesn't the depreciation on real estate take longer?
Not if you buy commercial real estate and do what's called a cost segregation study and accelerate the depreciation and take it all in a big income year.
Can we clip that so I can send that to my CPA?
Yeah. Essentially, like last year, I bought a commercial building. I paid for
yourself or for investment.
Well, let's just walk through the whole scenario. Robert Kiyosaki and I are buddies, and one of the things he said to me very early on was, the whole point of a business is to own real estate. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, look, there's no other point of a business. It's not to goods and services or anything. It's to own real estate. And I'm like, interesting. That's a weird way to look at it because I never thought of it like that. And he's like, why would you ever own a business and rent the space? That's a dumb thing. You got to rent from yourself because we're moving income from one legal entity that is taxed very heavily over into a holding entity that owns the real estate that's taxed really good.
Yeah.
So you got to shift the income from one entity over to the other entity. This is what rich people do. And I'm like,
don't they overpay? They overpay, don't they?
Well, you got to at least pay market rents. Yeah. But think about this. I go buy a commercial building that has 6 suites in it. So imagine even this building. This building probably has like 25 suites in it. Each suite, I don't know what it costs, but it's $6,000 a month, $8,000 a month to rent. Okay, so we got all these suites. So let's say for easy math, there was 10 suites at $8,000 a month. So this thing brings in $80K a month in income. Okay, my building had 6 suites, all at $7,500 a month. I paid $4.25 million for the building. It brought in a certain amount of money. I put my own companies in 2 of the suites. Okay. And then we did what's called a cost segregation study on it. So it cost me, so I'm sitting here and I have an education business and all these other businesses. And let's say I'm going to be taxed $2 million, just for sake of $2 million. I'm going to have a $2 million tax bill. But over here, and I have, by the way, $2 million in my bank account. So I have a $2 million tax bill and I have $2 million in my bank account. I'm about to get taxed. Instead of paying the $2 million to the government and having them send it off to Ukraine, I'm going to go buy a building for $4 million, put $1 million down on it because that's about what you need, about 25% down. I'm going to take my other $1 million and I'm going to upgrade the building and I'm going to fix things and I'm going to get it rented out and I'm going to move my companies into them and I'm going to rent 2 office suites for myself and I'm going to rent the rest to cash, paying tenants. And then I'm going to pay for a cost segregation study, and I'm going to accelerate the depreciation. And essentially what a cost seg study is this building right now, it has walls, it has floors, it has ceiling fans, it has electrical, it has plumbing. All we're going to do is cost seg, meaning we're going to break the building down into its components. There's door handles, there's all these things. That door handle that I'm staring at right now might be $50. Okay, so there's our $30, whatever the cost seg study gives to it. And it says over 30 years, that $50 is going to depreciate a little bit per year. With the cost seg study, I can break them all down in their components, and then I can say to myself, hey, this is one of those years where I made a lot of money in my other businesses. I need write-offs. So instead of giving it to the government, I'm going to go buy this building, rent it from myself, own the asset. The $1 million that I spent on the building, do I still own it?
Yes.
It's still mine. I just don't have access to it because it's in the form of equity.
Yeah.
The $1 million that I spent on top of it to fix the building up and force the value of the building up, it's no longer worth $4 million. It's worth $5 million now because I fixed it up and I put tenants in it. So now my building's, that $2 million is now deployed, but I still control it. At some point, I'm going to get it back plus more.
Yeah.
I didn't. And then I do this cost seg study and I say to myself, let's accelerate the depreciation all into 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. And I take most of my write-offs in the first year. And so my accountant does his little accountant magic. And then all of a sudden he goes, all right, Cody, you wiped out $1.8 million in taxes from that one purchase.
Yep.
So now I have an asset that's going to be in my family.
That's cash flowing.
It's cash flowing. And by the way, I use 2 of the suites and the other 4 suites bring in more than my $25,000 mortgage. So every month when we pay my mortgage with my tenant's money, even though I'm paying market rents for mine,
Paying it to yourself.
I'm paying it to myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just shifting from one legal entity
to another.
That's way more tax beneficial. Not paying taxes on any of it because I don't have to pay taxes. And I'm paying down that mortgage with other people's money, my tenants. It's like I'm making money on every layer.
Can we do this? Can you help me do this right now?
You should be doing this. This is the play, dude.
It is the play.
This is why Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes, and I don't understand why everybody's pissed off at him.
Yeah. Oh no, I love it. I have ways of like lowering my taxes dramatically, and we lower our taxes dramatically without buying. Like I do everything through trust funds, and I do a lot of stuff in that way. But like this is like I guess the part of evolution of me learning of business side is like I need to start getting into that side of things more too. Because like I said, we're selling companies. We're going to be having big sales off. Like, I don't want to just go buy a jet. You know what I mean? I don't want to go buy another company.
You can't do it with the wrong real estate. You have to do it with the right type of real estate. And I'll help you, dude. Anytime we can chop it up. And, that's why I like commercial buildings I would be focused on commercial and larger multifamily.
But what about next year? Then you have to buy another commercial building or?
Yeah. Keep doing it. You keep doing it. Yeah. I keep making money. I might earn income over here from all my companies, but I got to keep buying real estate and having write-offs, which is why we buy so much real estate.
And you don't think that like there's any possibility of that building like ever not having tenants in it, or?
I mean, yeah,
because commercial real estate with our world now, everything's Zoom and shit now.
I'm not buying real estate in San Francisco where it's sitting vacant, and
touche.
There's crackheads across the street shitting on the sidewalk.
Scottsdale, Florida.
I'm buying a good real estate in a good area,
so finding
in a good economy, in a red state that has good landlord-tenant laws. And, Arizona is a very strong economy. We are very lucky.
We are, yeah. Especially with Gilbert, Chandler, they're all blowing up massively right now. Mesa, then they're building that smart city, aren't they still building that smart city? Or
Yes, they are. I haven't heard otherwise, but
I'm sure that's going to help the economy somehow.
But, it's like I would much rather go buy a building in any of those cities or Tempe, like where I got mine, than most other states. And, yes, I'm going to go do it again. I want to do it 50 more times. Okay. Once you do it once, you're like, oh my God, this is like the cheat code to becoming super wealthy. If I don't pay taxes, I could go twice as fast.
You can, because you're not writing a check to the damn government for half your fucking money.
Yeah.
That you fucking earned. I love that. So, so as of right now, you have your real estate fund, you have your education, and then you have obviously, do you wholesale, fix and flip? Is there any other side of that too? Do you have a whole team that does that?
Yeah, I own a company called Green Elephant Development. We're a development company. We're developing residential and commercial projects right now. I'm developing a hard street corner that's going to have. It's 5.5. It's right on Cooper in Chandler Boulevard in Chandler, Arizona. We're going to develop that we're going through the entitlement process. So whenever you take raw land and change its usage, it's called entitling. And so we're working with the city. You got to work with the city council. You got to bring attorneys involved. There's a lot of process. But like take raw land. Let's say it's zoned for one use, and we're going to change it to be zoned for a different use. By taking just the raw land through the entitlement process, when it's done, even though I haven't touched the dirt yet, I just worked through the plans and the permitting, it's now worth double.
Because you did the work.
We did the hard part, which is fighting through the legal process to get it ready to be built on. And then I can just literally take that raw land that's fully entitled and go walk into any developer and go, hey, you want to make $8 million building this project? And they go, yeah. And they buy it. So I could buy the land for $3.5 million and sell it for $6.5 million by 10 months worth of entitling or a year's worth of entitling. We're doing that times 7 or 8 times right now in a bunch of different really big projects. I got a 67-acre development that we're building right now. So
do you do most of your work in Arizona? Like in Arizona?
We're licensed in Arizona, so our development companies here in Arizona, we own real estate all over. I own some big multifamily projects in Georgia. We flip houses nationwide. I wholesale nationwide. We got a lot of people that bring us deals. I got a website called sendusthedeals.com. Let's say you discover wholesaling real estate online. And I sell a lot of education around this. So if you don't know what wholesaling real estate is, just go to fliphousesbook.com.
Go check it out.
Yeah, just read about it. Google wholesaling real estate.
That was one of my first gigs that I ever did into the entrepreneur journey.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's cool because you learn about real estate. You learn about kind of like triage or arbitraging and like
sales and how to sell and
marketing and sales and basic influence and negotiation tactics. And it's a good foundation. But let's say you bring me a deal and you're in Tennessee. I have about 4.5 million cash buyers on my database. They're looking for deals. I just need a good deal.
Yeah.
So if you go to sendusthedeals.com and submit a deal to me, I'll do the disposition side of it. I'll flip that property to one of my buyers and we'll split the profits up. It's an easy win with no risk to either one of us.
I've thought about starting my own wholesaling company before. Just to see if
don't do it, dude. You're doing way too good.
Well, I mean, I'm more now like that phase where like I just want different investments, different companies. I like doing things, learning things, being a part of new things. That's the only reason I started the embroidery company is just to learn something new, have fun with it.
I'd say, hey, listen, dude, you're already at a level where your number one focus of energy needs to be on going way bigger and not paying taxes, not making more money.
Well, yeah.
It's not another hustle. It's like
paying no taxes. It's
figuring out if I'm going to spend, 10 hours a week on a new thing, it's going to be on a big thing.
Yeah.
Thinking way bigger.
It's got to be more money than
And what you'll find in real estate is the bigger the project, the easier it is.
Really? It's
backwards than what you would think. If you're new and you've never really done a real estate deal, and I'm like, we're going to go build 180 unit multifamily from the ground up, you're going to be like, what?
That sounds like
what are you talking about? Like, I live in an apartment, bro. Like, I'm not building an apartment. It's easier to raise the money. It's easier to get the project put together than it is to go and renovate a shitty house that was built in 1960 in Tempe, Arizona, that has old plumbing and old this and all that. It's harder to get the money for that project. It's harder to get the crew for that project. It's harder to get the project wrapped around to make sure that you make money on that project. Yep. It's just harder. There's too many unknowns and it's too little of a deal. When you go and you do these bigger projects, now you're talking to a different type of lender, a different type of private lender, or a different type of institutional lender. You're talking to different contractor qualities.
People are going to write you a check and say, okay, call me when you have a return.
So imagine your uncle owns some land somewhere and he's been sitting on it since 2006, since the market fell apart. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do with this? And you're just some young, hustling, creative dude. It'd be easier for you to go figure out how to build a big apartment deal on that land than it is for you to go figure out how to
fix and flip a house.
Fix and flip some shitty little house in Tempe.
Yep. I love that. So what is your real goal now with these companies? Is your goal and this is a financial goal, what is your goal? Is it to sell them? Is it to just keep building and developing real estate? Is it are you, because the education, that's probably never going to go anywhere. That's you.
I'll always do the education thing, but honestly, I own businesses in the supplement network marketing space. I own title companies. I own real estate wholesaling companies, development companies. We own the education business. I invest in we do a lot of private equity stuff where we put money into food businesses. Like I'm a big investor in Cauliflower Foods and things like that. Just more. I want to do more of the real estate thing. We're doing these big projects for a reason. I spent way too much time in the single family house business, way too much time paying taxes, way too much time thinking that I was the man because I was making, $10 million a year, thinking that was something.
Yep.
I just wasn't thinking big enough. Yeah. It's funny when I get around my friends that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year and I'm making millions of dollars a year. It's like it's
different. There's a different level.
It's just a different way you think about money in a different way you spend your time. And I'm like, fuck, these people aren't any better than me. It's literally me. They're just working on bigger, better things.
Yep. I've seen that many times.
They don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
That's what's great. It's like none of us really know what we're doing.
Nope.
But we're pulling it together because look, and I'll share this. This is a great thing my mentor used to share with me. He used to say, Cody, in real estate, and this is true in entrepreneurship, you're never going to have a money problem, but you will have a creativity problem.
Interesting.
And I didn't know what that meant for a long time until I realized the bigger deals, it's just about being creative. It's creatively putting it together and packaging it in a way that people get it. This is my uncle's land. We're going to build a 200-unit apartment building. I've never done it before. How do I creatively put this deal together to get all the team members on board so they do 100% of the work and put up 100% of the money? And I am just the puppeteer of this thing. And what's great about real estate or almost anything is once you get one big win, everybody wants to play.
It's easy to keep going.
Oh, it's so much easier. It's weird. When I first started, I couldn't get money from a bank to save my life. Now I'm like, I don't want your money. Like, there's too much.
There's too much of it, yeah.
It's too much. They're like trying to throw money at you, and you're like,
I love that.
I don't have a project right now. Like, chill.
Yeah. So is your plan, your plan is just to keep doing more in this, not to shift, to go anywhere else, or to do any things?
No.
Because you told me earlier, like, don't shift. You got too many companies and all this. So I'm just curious, like.
Look, yes gets you out of Egypt. No takes you to the promised land. Entrepreneurs always try to do it all.
Yep.
And they end up dying a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep, 100%.
The only thing
Hiring
you should
teams.
do, and this is, I'm just like dropping the one-liners. Another way to think of it is starve the ponies and feed the stallions. I'm good at real estate. I'm good at starting and scaling certain types of businesses. I'm a marketer to my core.
Yep.
There's only two things I really do. Whatever that, like if it's in the real estate space, I'm doing my real estate thing and I'm building my projects and trying to buy and own real estate, and I'm trying to build and scale my personal brand. Those two things I'm perfectly okay doing in parallel.
Yeah.
The second you say, let's go start another business, I'm going to say, I cannot run that business. I can put money into it,
but you can't run it. Yep.
I can't run it. I can't be part of it. I'm not Elon Musk. I don't want to be CEO of 5 companies. Like, you better show me and build the most epic team around that business that does not involve me in almost any way other than money or some light consulting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like that because that's actually something I had to learn about a few years ago. I was trying to, because I had like 3 companies that we started, and 2 of those in our first of the 2 of them, we hit 7 figures our first month in both companies. And I was like, I'm good at this. And they were like, not realizing they were kind of in the same industry.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I'm good at this. I can do this with anything. And then I started another company and it went to shit. Started another company and it went to shit. Started another company and it went to shit. And then finally I realized, okay, I'm going to take these 2 companies that are doing 7 figures a month. I'm going to take some of the money there, build and start from the top and go top down, hire a CEO. If it's an idea that we like, hire a CEO, hire a marketing consultant, and then build the whole team around them and then say, here's money, go run it. Go do the fucking company. Go build the company. We're here. Here's the money. Here's what you need. This is how much it's going to take. Boom. So I'm not involved anymore.
I don't have a problem with that.
And that's what I've learned. And I focus on my shit that I'm good at now.
How much more can we do? Like, even in your 7-figure businesses, have you maxed those out?
No. There's quite a few companies that are doing 8 figures a month.
Okay, and an 8-figure, whatever your number one racehorse is, if you shut everything else down and put 1,000% of all your best team members and all your best energy into that, would that scale?
It would.
Okay, well then that's always my thing. Is like, why are we doing 9 businesses when we could do 1?
Because every business that we're doing now is in the same space. It's all based around trading.
Okay, so it's
they're parallel.
You're like
they're
Apple.
parallel. Yes,
you're like Apple. You're okay. I do that in real estate because I own the title company, the lending company, the other assets.
Essentially, that's what we did.
Okay, then I'm good with that because a savvy entrepreneur takes a look at the transaction and says, who is making money as a vendor or a subsidiary or somebody to support my initial transaction. And in real estate, if the initial transaction is the house, then it's like, what about title? What about insurance? What about lending? What about, okay, I'm good with verticalizing.
Yeah, and so that's really what we did when I was failing in companies. I wasn't in the same industry. It wasn't even close. So like we realized like, okay, people are sending payments, so we opened this. We opened our own PSP. We opened up,
What's PSP?
Basically payment processing.
Okay.
It's like we're basically just transacting money, but they were charging like 2%, and this one company was doing $2 million a day. And they were charging like 2%. And we were like, why the fuck are we giving that to someone else? Yeah. Let's go build our own and then accept payments from everywhere else. Yeah. Obviously, we weren't making $2 million a day, but transactional volume is 2%, as $2 million a day. And so we started doing that. And that's been my biggest lesson. And then I hired, I had one partner to begin with. His name's Q. And me and him started everything together. And then we brought on our COO, which he's an attorney. And then we brought his firm on. We brought him as an attorney. So he's also general counsel, but also an attorney. So
yeah, that's cool.
So it's been quite the learning experience. I'm learning. So like all this, so you're telling me right now, it's like I'm just taking it in. It's like it's a learning experience for me.
Yeah. You got to be nimble to be an entrepreneur. You got to be tough and nimble. There's a lot of learning lessons in it. I'm still learning all the time.
I love that.
That's why I pay for mentorship. That's why I pay for masterminds. I put myself in the right room.
To get that feeling where I need to pay for mentorship and start
nothing wrong with that.
Start like learning from somebody that has the next level.
Nothing's dumber to me than when some fucking moron on social media is like, why'd you pay for? Why do you sell coaching, or why would you pay for mentorship? I'm like, because you dumbass, I'm gonna get a 50 times ROI on my knowledge.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than me spending money on me and putting me in the right room, because I know what I'm capable of and what I'm going to do. And when I bro out with you, we're going to go make money together, and I'm going to get a huge return. You don't do that because you're stuck in whatever, mental prison that you're in, and you've just never experienced it. And I used to be the same way. I used to be, scared of, I had a poor relationship with money, and I used to be scared to spend money. I used to think of it as an expense.
Yep. And that's how I was too. I actually think like now learning back, I think a lot of these mentors and people don't charge enough. They don't charge enough. Like they're like for me, like being in a room with someone like you or being in your course, like I would learn more about real estate than I knew before. That's a priceless thing for me to learn. Right. It's the same as like people come to me and like from my course that's coming out is like, it's like, I am one of the like very like few like 7-figure traders in the world. To be like watch how I go through the charts, like that's a valuable thing. Used to watch how people just would navigate the charts, how their charts was set up, like what did it look like.
Yeah.
And so it's like those little things like are so powerful. Like what does it look like when you wake up? What does it look like when you find a deal? What does it look like when you
my girl day trades? Will you teach her some shit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does she trade? What does she trade exactly? Is it current forex?
No, stocks at TQQQ and.
See, I don't trade stocks.
I don't know.
I only trade forex. So I trade like US dollar versus the British pound. I trade the British pound.
Can't be that much different.
No, they're not. They're not really. There's just a lot more money in forex. There's a lot more money to be made. I'm not gonna say it's more risky, but I like it more because it can't, like you said, a CEO.
If I give her 10 grand and you teach her, am I gonna lose my money?
Probably.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
At least you're honest. At what point do I break through?
Yeah. At what point? It won't be because of me. It'll be because she doesn't know how to handle the emotion side of trading. And like, that's the hardest thing. When you've like, they set trading up, like they make your whole phone change colors to red when you're negative, and it controls your emotions. And then when it's positive, it changes to blue. Spreads, swaps, all that stuff is to play against the trader. You're in a losing battle. Now, the best part about it is it's buy or sell, so it's automatically 50-50, but they put losing conditions around it. And you have to learn how they think and what they think and why are they doing this? Why are banks doing it? Like today was CPI, and I had one position where I could have risked so much more money, and I wanted to risk so much more money. I ended up making like $19,000 in 2 hours.
Okay.
This morning. Right. But like if I would have been, the crazy part about this is if I would have done like higher risk on like one of my bigger accounts, I'd have made $190,000. And then if I would have been on my really, really big account, investor account, but I knew there was news, I'd have made $1.9 million.
Damn.
One trade. And so like the earning potential is unlimited. That's why I love Forex. That's why I love it. But I could see
why I stick with real estate. I know real estate. Like if I get into that, like I'd lose all my money. Yeah. Do you want to know how to, invest in crypto? Just do the opposite of what I do.
Did you get your ass waxed in crypto?
I made millions of dollars in crypto. but I lost millions too.
That's one of my biggest. I bought my first Bitcoin.
Coinbase kicked me out.
Really?
They fired me, as a client. They said I can't pull out anymore. I pulled out like $2 million through
Love
Coinbase
that.
very early
I'm
on.
very, very big into crypto. I actually hold that's the crazy part is I probably hold like 70% of my wealth in crypto.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I love crypto. I just suck at it. Like I'll go in and I'll be like, oh, this looks like a good time to sell my Bitcoin. And then I wanted this fish tank. I was building this big ass mansion and I was like, fuck, I want this fish. I just pictured this massive fish tank in my house.
That's awesome.
Like I tried to get sharks, but it wasn't big. The wall wasn't big enough because I was like, I wonder what kind of sharks I could put in here. Because I just thought that would be like the coolest,
The most badass thing.
bad idea, even on the on the fish tank. Because I sold some Bitcoins at the time. They were pretty low, and so I cashed out like $70,000-$80,000 worth of Bitcoin, and I bought this $80,000 fish tank. And then the fucking next week, Bitcoin doubled.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a $160,000 fish tank right there.
I say that all the time. So like, I actually staked a lot of my companies on crypto when I was first starting them. I staked a lot of my companies, and I'd pay for expenses out of my pocket because we were receiving crypto in, and I would hold on to the crypto in order for us to make more money. And then like Bitcoin's, I mean, it's at 37,000 now. I think you're going to see it by the next year or two up in the hundreds.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Podcast is retiring.
I'm done.
We're done with this shit.
I love it, man. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. This has been a blast. I learned a lot. Hope you guys learned a lot. I do ask for one thing, and I ask this to everybody. This camera right here, in 3 to 4 sentences, leave our audience with something inspirational, motivational, educational.
Motivational, inspirational. You know, that's always a funny thing because, like, first off, if you need motivation and inspiration, you're already a fucking loser. You know, I wake up every single morning self-driven. Like, I don't need somebody else to cheerlead me on or pump me up or tell me that I'm worth it. So hopefully that's not you. Hopefully you're not even using an alarm clock because your dreams are pulling you out of fucking bed and getting you up at it. But if not, let's say you're one of those people that need a little pep talk. I would say your number one goal is to get in proximity of other winners because they will infect your brain. The people around you should pitch a little tent in your mind and just stay there and keep pushing you and pulling you forward. Because I know for me, like I said earlier on this podcast, when I got out of my environment, I got in the right place and around the right people, everything changed for me. I'm not scared to spend $100,000 to put myself in the right room because I know that if everybody had to pay $100,000 to be in that room, then I'm in the right motherfucking room. So you got this. You know, don't take. Oh, and I'll leave you with this. You'll make double the money when you have kids. So go have kids. I promise you that. The second I became a dad, my why grew so deep and so much bigger than anything I could have done on my own that you will double your income. Yep. That'll be your driver.
100,000% agree with that. My biggest, one of my most viral videos I had with actually Rob. I talked about that and I got so much hate.
Why?
So much hate. Because like I was like, oh yeah, I was like, and they were like, well, that means like you're not a good father. Then like you're ready to work on your businesses. Then go spend time with them. And I was like, and what's crazy is all the fucking women in it. All the women were like, yes, and all the men were like fucking miserable and pissed off in their own fucking life. So they were like, I'm just gonna talk shit on the internet about this guy now.
Dude, I hope everybody talks shit about something in this podcast so it'll go viral.
Oh yeah, me too.
Thank you for that.
I love it. Real quick, also, where can people find you, your website, everything?
Yeah, at Clever Investor on all social platforms. Like I said earlier, if you want to learn a little bit, just go to fliphousesbook.com. You can learn about some basic wholesaling and basic real estate investing. And hopefully you don't reach out to me. To be honest with you, I don't need more shit to do or people to talk about. I got a great friend group. Yep. I got a lot of content online. Just go look around for Clever Investor or real estate investing, Clever Investor. You'll find everything that you need out there.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
You'll see it
this. Don't DM me.
I love it. Please also remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also make sure you have that notification bell turned on because we're dropping these every single fucking week and you don't want to miss it. With that being said, peace out.
Start when we stop, we gon'